Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Level Up Hobbies and I am Jason. So today I am currently working on a Prime Absolver's Force for my son. These are an Unforgiven chapter. And I was looking at the red that I'm painting on the arms and pauldrons and just thought that, you guys might want a couple variations on how to make red a little bit more vibrant because it can be very flat if you don't do it right. And you can use various shades and just line shading and all of that to bring out that depth and everything. But I'm going to show you what I did here to make Gazskull's little tabard a very bright, vibrant red when you look at it. So the trick with this is you need to use uh, glazes. So you're going to be using clear paints, but that's going to be going over basically a grisaille like underpainting. So you're going to paint in all the shades and the highlights in black, black and white, grays, um, and then you're going to glaze over that with your main color. So that being the red here. And as you can see on these pauldrons, or on this pauldron and arm, it's very flat. There's no depth to it at all. So we're going to be starting from scratch here on this Terminator arm here, and I'll show you two different methods on getting reds like that cloak. And now since I've already painted the base color of the armor the blue, I don't want to mess that up and have to repaint any of that. So I'm going to go ahead and tape off my areas right here, and then we'll begin with our base coats. Okay, so the first method here, I'm going to be building up highlights and gradients using stippling and dry brushing. And then we're going to glaze color over this. A lot of people call this slap chop, but I'm not really fond of that term, so I'll call it what it is. It's a simplified grisaille underpainting. See, much easier to say. I'm going to dry brush up a highlight. I'm using a couple different colors here. I start off with a very light neutral gray, and then I go up to a white. And again, I'm using the blue base coat as the shadows. So whenever you glaze that red over the blues, it's going to give you some like subtle, like deep purples that will fade into the red color here. Now keep working up that color and just build up those highlights. Make sure your brush is dry between. I mean, it needs to have a little bit of like moisture like in the bristles, but if it's too wet, it will actually pick up those previous layers, and you don't want that to happen, which is what happened to me on that Power Fist there. So when you're happy with that transition, you can move up to the next color, which is going to be a pure white. For this one, I think I used ceramite white. Not really sure. Is it? Yeah, I'm not really sure. So just go for your bright white here, and this will be the final highlight, like on this area. For the look that you want, you need to use a transparent color. So any of the contrasts, speed paints, etc., etc. The Pro Acryls transparents. I am using contrast paint Blood Angels Red. And for the contrast, you're going to want to load up your brush and just really slather it over the surface here. Work from top to bottom and just drag that paint down. Most of the time, I will thin this out. I did not thin this at all. I did wet my brush so it kind of diffuses it in the bristles a bit, but that's not a guarantee, so don't rely on that for your only method of thinning this paint. It can pool up if you're not careful. So you want to work one section at a time and just work that section up until you're happy, and then move on to the next one. With contrast paints in particular, I can't speak for speed paints or any of the other similar paints like this. Once you work it onto a surface and you let it sit there for a minute or two, don't go back and touch it, because it will start to set up, and if you move that brush over, you will pull up the paint that had previously dried on there. It'll re-wet, and then you'll have a lot of blotchiness on your panels. So work it, and then you can dab off any excess, and then you can go back once it's dry and do touch-ups if you need to. So the red is dried, and you can see there is a variation going from like dark to light, but I want to increase that and just add more variation to it. So I'm going to take some straight contrast medium and just make a line across where I want this transition to begin. And I take straight Flesh Terrors red and I paint that from that contrast medium down into the shadows. Now that painting into that contrast medium will diffuse the Flesh Terrors red and make it kind of just filter out into the Blood Angels red, and you'll get a nice gradient. I'll let this dry and then I'll repeat the process and just build up those shadows if I need to. And here we go. We're working in a second layer of those shadows. Again, I'm using the Flesh Terrors red at this point and doing a line of contrast medium. Again, that contrast medium, it'll mix with that Flesh Terrors red and give you a nice little gradient into that Blood Angels red. And now I'm working it up on the top side of that Power Fist, just giving that gradient into the shadows on the inside. I also work the shadows into the pauldron to give it that nice kind of spherical, look to that. And here's the finished arm next to just a flat red. This hasn't had any shading or highlighting work done to it, but you can see the variation that you can get. On the left, this is going to be all of your midtones before you add shadows, before you add highlights. On the right, I didn't really have to go in and add those deeper shadows because that pre-shading or pre-highlighting with the dry brushing kind of does that for you, and you just leave that base color. I just wanted to, like I said, I just wanted to give that a little bit deeper shadows and a little bit more definition to that model, which I think turned out really well. You can see that separation between the joints and the fingers. It's much more prevalent than in the just flat red. And here I'm just going through and adding a little bit of edge highlighting on the upper edges, and then going through and just doing some a little bit of weathering with some nicks and scratches. If you don't do any weathering on your models, I mean, that's cool. Like, it's all up to preference, but I think just a little bit of weathering can really bring your models to life. It gives it that more lived-in, used feel. Okay, here is the final version against just a flat red. Now, the flat red, obviously, it doesn't have any shading or highlights or anything, so it's hard to compare the two, but just showing you how easy it was to get all of that definition is what I'm going for here. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Thanks for watching as I painted up this red armor. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to subscribe, share, any of that jazz that goes along with it. And yeah, thanks again for watching. I'm Jason. This has been Level Up Hobbies. And remember, build, paint, and play tabletop games. Later, guys.